On today's episode of The Unwritten Rule, it's finally time. First preview of the season for Mizzou football. Me, Kenny, and Payton dove into it. We did record this on a Sunday. Don't believe there's been too much news, anything new since then. So I don't think there was anything in there that we didn't cover that was new during the week. We recorded the preview on the Sunday, but we're dropping it on Wednesday, the day before, of course, Mizzou takes on Murray State in their first game of the season. We're so excited. We did all sorts of stuff. We just talked about what our expectations for the game was, position groups we're watching, players, all that stuff. We did do a score prediction, as much as, hopefully that doesn't ultimately end up mattering or being revisited that much after the game. We did do score predictions, just preview the game, talked about what we're excited for as Mizzou football looks to start their season. And then we also did just a ton of predictions, SEC predictions, college football predictions, stuff we wanted to predict, Mizzou related and just college football related, that we want to look back on at the end of the season for ourselves. So just a whole big prediction show, a quick look at, Murray State. Didn't talk really about them too much, mostly what we wanted to see from Mizzou. Obviously, when the opponents get more big time, it will be more of a even preview. We'll talk a little bit more about the teams Mizzou is facing. But yeah, so excited that the season is back. Excited to bring this to you guys. Me and Payton there should be a show up Thursday night after the game. Me and Payton are going to jump on and recap it for you guys. So you should have a show, our live reactions to what we saw from Mizzou. But for now, you have this before the game to enjoy in the day before. And we're back. I'm just so excited. The time is, actually, it's kind of been a long summer, but football is back. Mizzou football is back. Big season for the Tigers. That looks like it's coming up. So, first preview of the year. Let's dive into it. The Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Wednesday, August 28th. And yes, we have a Wednesday show because we have to preview the game in a little bit more unique fashion. Mizzou is back. When you're listening to this, it, will be probably less than 24 hours, a little over 24 hours away from kickoff for Missouri against Murray State. The season is finally started. Maybe the game will be sold out by the time you're listening to this too. We're recording this a little bit earlier on a Sunday, but we're releasing it Wednesday. So I don't know what the ticket situation is. Anyway, go back to listen to last show if you want a conversation about that. Me and Payton talked about it. Payton, Kenny, we're going to dive into our thoughts. Mizzou released its unofficial depth chart. We're going to talk about that, some developments, and then, just give what we're thinking for the game. Not going to really preview Murray State. It's Murray State. But before that, how excited are you guys with football being back and Mizzou football being back?
Obviously very excited, cautiously optimistic. I don't know. I did, I guess, have a tweet earlier today that I was saying earlier on Sunday that I was losing my mind because I just need to watch Mizzou 60 ball Murray State already. So obviously I'm ready to get back into it, but obviously with a season with so much expectations, there's, you get nervous about it, you kind of play the season out in your head over and over, but hey man, it's good to have these expectations. There's a 12-team playoff last year. If we had the 12-team playoff, Missouri would have been hosting a playoff game, I believe. So very, very cautiously optimistic about the season. And football being back is always good.
It's always good. We had the Ireland game. We talked about that last show, all that. Kenny, you excited?
Yeah, it still won't feel like the season opener to me. Still not really used to Thursday games, even though this is the third year in a row. I think that first Saturday game in the heat, that September, August heat, will be it. And I think hit the ground running and very excited for what the season has in store.
Yeah, I'm very amped. It is a little weird on a Thursday, which we have to do this. Normally the show schedule is kind of built around Mizzou football, so we can drop the previews on Fridays, recap it. I'm excited to get back into all the stuff we did. Recapping those post games right after when our reactions were really fresh was always fun. Twitter, if you follow us on Twitter, and you should, at Believe Unwritten, we will be doing SEC tier lists again, and the videos. So those will both come back for the year. Assuming Mizzou wins a game. I said we were doing videos for basketball, and then Mizzou didn't win a conference game, so I could never make a video. So, that the highlights will come back as well. So, yeah, I'm just excited for everything. Super stoked. And we're kind of going to get in. Let's get into everything and kind of what we're thinking or looking for ahead of this first game. Obviously, it's Murray State, not too much to dissect with them, but Mizzou, some developments. They released their unofficial depth chart, like I said at the top. I will just open it up. We talked a little bit about it on Monday's show. Kenny, do you want to go first and get it out of the way, or
no? I want to go last. I'm not going to say anything until my special.
You don't have anything else to add
Nope.
until you're all right. Payton, take it away with the actual important depth chart, please.
Yeah, I mean, not really anything super surprising. Nate Noel and Marcus Carroll, as I think most expected, have the or next to them. We'll get into that a little more in a bit. Not super surprised by how they did the linebackers. We'd mentioned, Knowlton, that we thought all four of Chuck Hicks, Corey Flagg, Khalil Jacobs, and Tristan Newsome would probably see the field. The depth chart would seem to indicate that. It's Tristan Newsome or Khalil Jacobs at one spot, Chuck Hicks or Jeremy Flagg or Corey Flagg at the other spot, and then you get into the backups. So nothing super surprising. I was a little surprised at how deep Mizzou apparently thinks they are at D tackle. They have Chris McClellan listed as the bona fide starter on one side, which kind of flies in the face of what we maybe thought was going to happen. Then they have Jalen Marshall or Sam Williams right behind him. Then they have Christian Williams as the bona fide starter at the other spot, Sterling Webb or Marquise Gracial right behind him. Again, last year Mizzou used their top 4 D tackles, pretty much equal amount of snaps, so I kind of expect that to be the case. And I think even though the depth chart doesn't list it this way, I would still expect Sterling Webb and Marquise Gracial to be those 3 and 4. I don't think it'll be Jalen Marshall and Sam Williams getting more snaps than either of those two. Other than that, nothing super shocking. They did list opposite of Drayden Norwood, Toriano Pride, or Nick DeLoach. Corner is definitely the scariest part on the field for me. That's a room that definitely needs to be I need to see things go well before I'm ready to be confident in it. You also have Marvin Burks is the bona fide starter on one side, but they have Joseph Charleston or Trevez Johnson listed as the starter for safety. I'd still expect Charleston gets most of the snaps there, but overall, nothing caught me off guard. Nothing caught me too off guard. That that seemed like a big deal. So, yeah, this is kind of what we expected, and now it seems like Mizzou's ready to roll.
Yeah, I think you hit on all of it. I would agree. It's interesting the way, like you said, D tackle stacks up. That's probably the weirdest one. And yeah, we had heard, Sterling Webb was kind of taking that job over Chris McClellan. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that he isn't. Because Chris McClellan.
It was Gracial over McClellan, not Webb.
Gracial over McClellan. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I know we like Gracial on this podcast. But yeah, actually, Kenny, can you zoom in on the wide receivers briefly for me? I just want to look at how that was like lined up. I don't know. It's a room we haven't touched on. It's not really for any particular reason other than it's really good. But yeah, you got Luther, Mookie Cooper, Theo Wees, Marquise Johnson, Josh Manning, Mekhi Miller behind each of them at their respective positions. Got an or by James Madison. James Madison appearing on the depth chart. That's always exciting.
With a Logan Muckey.
Hey, Prez needs time. You gotta give him time.
I know.
I will say it's
also
interesting. This is one of the first years they aren't doing XYZ on the depth chart. It's just wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. Luther would be the X, Luke would be the Y, and then Theo would be the Z in that case. But they're not doing that anymore.
It's a good point. I also, with the D tackles, I don't love like number 10 and number 33 at D tackle. It's still taking me some getting used to. I don't mind the single digits. Like Kristen Williams is 5, Chris McClellan is 7. I actually think that's fine. I don't like Sterling Webb 10 or Marquise.
7 is a little odd to me. I don't know.
Maybe
5
7,
feels like a nice round number, so maybe that helps a little bit.
It's just
7's a
everyone
little
behind him too is in the 90s, like it should be. Proper
Well,
football.
it should also be noted that on the DN spots, you have Johnny Walker bona fide on one side with Joe Moore and Ja'Kai Lang right behind him. Then you have Zion Young or Eddie Kelly at the other DN spot. I don't think that's too unexpected, but it should be noted. Then right behind those two, you have Jalen Brown or Williams Nwaneri. So Nwaneri is on the depth chart. We'll see how much he really gets to play, though.
Good point. All right, Kenny, go.
Can you put me full screen?
Yes.
Or just like remove yourselves, and that can just be me in the depth chart.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yes. Let me.
Okay, I believe I have the floor now. Okay, we'll look at the special teams now. Luke Bauer will be the starting punter to kick things off. No pun intended. Orion Phillips, a former racer, going up against his former team, is listed as the backup right now. Kicker position. No surprise here. Blake Craig is the starter. Nick Quadrini got the quads for days. He will be the backup place kicker and kickoffs. A little bit of a weird one here, but at holder, we have Luke Bauer, who I mentioned earlier, the starting punter, and Brady Cook. There's an or between them on who's going to hold. And then here's the fun one. My favorite position, we got long snapper. Brett LeBlanc, of course, the All-American in his second season with the Tigers, will be on punts. And Trey Flint, who came over from a small college in Arkansas last year, is in his second season with the Tigers, and he'll be on field goals. Even can take it one further, not on the depth chart. Jack Kotz, he's not on here, but I mean, he was also highly regarded as a recruit, just like not as much as Brett LeBlanc, but he was very highly regarded. The guys can talk about the punt returners on kickoffs. Marquise Johnson. I think that one was a lot of fun. Of course, you probably will see a little bit, two returners back there. Josh Yang and Marvin Burks Jr. round out the kick returners. Okay, guys, you can come back.
Wait. We're not. Hold on. We gotta realign. Conference realignment. There we go.
Yeah. Really the only thing I have to comment on, other than the fact that it's still a joke that we don't have the punter situation really ironed out.
It is ironed out. There's no or.
No or.
Yeah, it's not really like
Did you listen
the guy
to
that they benched for Riley Williams and then brought in another punter is now starting.
Or Ian Phillips.
I
I don't like.
He's not gonna. He better play against his former team.
He's definitely not
for a
going
bench
to.
game.
He doesn't even.
You honestly should hope that no one's punting in this game.
Yeah, that also.
Dude, Orion
on one side of the wall
is 6'3", 176 pounds. That is like an inch and a pound shorter or taller and heavier than me. That's like if I was punting. That's ridiculous.
You can probably apparently punt as well as him. I'm pretty over. I don't like Luther Burden at punt return anymore. I think he's too valuable to really use there, and quite frankly, he has not been that good there. I'd rather see Daniel Blood kind of get the run there. I definitely don't need to see Theo Weiss at punt return. That is a bizarre.
Yeah, that's weird.
That is almost like
bizarre.
That's like intentional misdirection. I agree though, Kenny. I think Marquise Johnson at kick return is actually very fun.
Josh Manning is a lot bigger than I thought. I did not. He's listed at 6'2", 209 pounds. That's bigger than Theo Weiss. So I did not think he was that large.
That is big. Yeah, wow. Theo Weiss, I remembered also, I think I shared this off air with you guys, but he played with Jalen Hurts, and that still is like such a weird thing to think about. It feels like forever ago that he was in college. Random note on Theo Weiss. Good job, Kenny, on the depth chart. For the specialists, you did very well. Yeah, best position, Brett LeBlanc.
He's so good.
Long snapper. All right,
Young
the other kind of storyline heading into game week that we got, and keep in mind we're recording this on Sunday just because we had to for scheduling things, so there might be some more stuff that pops out or that comes out. Not sure really what that would be, but other than the game being sold out, I guess that's probably what everyone's looking for at this point. But something that did come out on Sunday, and Payton mentioned it. Eli Drinkwitz said Nate Noel will, quote, go out there first at running back, and he will be followed and he will rotate with Marcus Carroll. They had the or, and I don't think that was surprising, but I also don't think this is very surprising. I feel like it seemed from what was coming out of camp that Nate Noel was sort of winning this winning this job early. I don't know. What do you guys make of that? You think that'll change anything in your mind about how this running back tandem will look?
Doesn't change how I feel. I think Drinkwitz really is kind of all in on the, okay, we're going to do this by committee. We're going to use them situationally. We're going to rotate. We'll see if it holds. Maybe Nate Noel, maybe Marcus Carroll breaks through like Cody Schrader did. But I really think Drinkwitz and Kirby Moore, really, I think they're all in on this idea of having a more of a committee approach.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I don't know. I just, it's so hard when I feel like that's been said under like two coaching staffs, and yet every time someone always kind of punches through the woodwork. I don't know.
Here's
also,
a question I have. Behind Noel and Carroll, who will be the third running back to take a carry?
Well, there was not even an or on the backups. So right now, their bona fide 3, if we're going just off the depth chart, is Jamal Roberts. So Tavoris Jones is 4, Lacey is 5. There was not even an or next to either of their names. So it would seem to me Mizzou has it figured out.
Yeah, which, I mean, good for Jamal Roberts. I mean, we were talking about that in the running back kind of question marks. What like a good season maybe looks like for him.
I did not know Tavoris Jones was that small. 5'9". Wow, that shocks me.
5'9", 195 for Quan Lacey too.
Yeah,
got some short statured men back there. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I liked also Kenny, if you go back to the Gabe tweet for a second, the one he responded where he was asked if there was any plan to guard the playbook and be cautious in the opening weeks. He gave a flat no, which not surprising.
I also think that's a lie. They said that they weren't guarding anything. Concerningly, they said that they weren't guarding anything against South Dakota and Middle Tennessee State last year.
True.
And that proved to be, whether intentional or not the case against Kansas State. I think it's also probably worth mentioning, Gabe DeArmond did tweet out, Drinkwitz did say, as of today, Jamarian Wayne and Jordan Harris, who Jordan Harris could be tight end 2 right now. He has the or next to Tyler Stevens. So both of them would be questionable today. Really, really cool to see that Jordan Harris has kind of already earned that level of trust in the offense. Norfleet rightfully gets a lot of the love, but Jordan Harris also has a very high ceiling on him. I know a lot of the staff early in the season last year raved about his blocking. So it would not shock me if he is able to get healthy quickly, he will get a fair amount of snaps.
Week 1. That's where I'll go on that note in terms of just what we're kind of wanting to see out of this game in Murray State. Which of Mizzou's younger reserves would you like to see the most make a play, whether it's a Waneri, maybe James Madison? You just said Jordan Harris, Payton. Which guys do you think maybe could maybe are in the best position or best poised to take advantage of an opportunity like this where you're going to get some extra run because Murray State's bad?
Yeah. I like, okay, foregone conclusion, Missouri is winning this game. We don't need to analyze Murray State. Murray State was a team that went 2-9 last season in FCS and had a coaching change. There is a snowball's chance in hell of them even scoring against Missouri, quite frankly. One thing before I even get into youngsters, I hope we see is Drinkwitz kind of runs up the score. Like, there's expectations this year. Like, you need to go for style points. I would like to see Missouri, if they're up 42-7 at half or something like that, keep going. Do not take your foot off the gas until the dying moments. In terms of why, like, just guys I'd like to see that entire, we mentioned it a lot on Sunday with the O-line. I'd like to see pretty much that entire 2 deep get into the game. I'd like to see Logan Reichert, Tristan Wilson, and Curtis Piegler get some snaps. I'd like to see Javen Richardson. It'd be cool, and I think very helpful for them, honestly, if we could maybe get some Roberts, Jones, and Lacey carries. Wide receiver-wise, I'd really like to see Josh Manning is a guy that apparently has flashed in camp, so maybe he'll play even before garbage time, but that's a guy I'd like to see in there. And yeah, like on the defensive side, I kind of look at a guy like Jeremiah Beasley, who transferred after spring at Michigan. in his freshman year. That he's an intriguing player. I think that's someone I want to see. But yeah, I mean, realistically, you're not going to get many answers out of this game, really, other than just getting some cohesion out there. Maybe you see a little bit out of your corners that you like, but I think that's a good way to put it, Knowlton. This is going to be about like, okay, what reserves are we going to see in this game? What are they going to flash?
Yeah, I think my eyes go to the corner position. I heard a lot about Shamar McNeil back in the class of 2023. There was some late buzz from North Carolina State. He did a last visit there, but ended up coming to Mizzou. I mean, I heard his name a good amount, last season as a guy who was like kind of showing off in camp, and now he's on the depth chart this year. We talked about Nicholas Deloche to death. He's listed as an OR for a starter. So those are guys right there. If Jamarian Wayne can go, finally want to see, what he kind of looks like more in some more game action with how many times he's switched positions. And maybe not a youngster, but a guy I'm kind of intrigued to see if he does get on the field is Drew Pine. He is 23 now.
I was thinking that too.
He is a sophomore. He's 23. But this is a guy you're going to lean on next season as well. So, I want to see what he looks like on the field. I know he played it. I think he threw somewhat over 50 passes last year at Arizona State. But I want to see what he looks like in some game action, especially with some of these guys he might be throwing to next year.
That's a good point. Is he 23-year-old sophomore?
He is 23, yes.
How does that even happen?
Sophomore for sure.
How does that even happen?
I mean, because he played at Notre Dame for a couple of years as well.
I don't even. That's
there's almost no way that's correct.
That can't be right.
He had the COVID year in 2020, where he redshirted with Notre Dame. He did not play in enough games in 2021, and then in 2022 he was with Notre Dame again. And then that season he threw for 254 passing attempts, and then he didn't really play much last year at Arizona State, which was his fourth season. So I think it is technically a sophomore standing on the field.
Fifth year sophomore.
That's insane.
Dude, a fifth year sophomore.
So he could be 26 years old.
Something like that.
He could be 26 years old as Mizzou's starter.
That's absurd, but he absolutely I mean, he's going to be in pole position to start for Mizzou next year. So I kind of agree. It would be good to see him a little bit.
25. I guess it depends on when his birth. Probably 25. That's wild. Well, good to know we're not older than everybody on the team now.
December 5th, 2000. So he'll be 24 by the bowl game.
Sheesh. So yeah, he could be 26 then. Yeah, that's wild. Nice. Okay, yeah, I think I don't know. My big one has always, and I guess like you guys kind of took them all. I really want to see how Kwan Lacey does. I heard so much good things about him as a recruit, and I know this running back room's kind of deep, and I want to see how Jamal Roberts does too. But he's a guy I'm a fan of. Of course, James Madison. I want to see what celebration he pulls out if he's able to catch a touchdown pass, because I'm sure he's got something planned, just knowing his kind of personality or what we saw on like Twitter, all that stuff. So those are a couple of the skill guys. But yeah, I mean, then just kind of from an overall perspective, I mean, Payton, you talked about it. You want to see this team, not take their foot off the gas, run up the score, just kind of general things, whether it's with specifically a position group or just generally from Mizzou. What has to happen for you to be, pleased about the result or pleased about a specific room? If you want to go that route as well.
They win by 60. I mean, this is a bad Murray State team that you're not going to find out a whole ton about. Again, I think corner is maybe the only thing I can gauge a little bit off of, because if your corners go out there and they're getting kind of walked on by Murray State, that does not bode well. But so that's maybe the only one. I want to see how the defense operates under Batoon a bit. And even though Drinkwitz said they're not hiding anything scheme-wise or anything like that, they absolutely are. So it's going to be a little vanilla, I'm sure, on the defensive side of the ball. But I do want to see a little bit of that. There's really nothing. The offense cannot tell me anything in this game, unless they, for whatever reason, do not walk up and down the field every time they have the ball.
Do you guys know what the largest margin of victory in a week 1 game under Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri is?
Ooh, good question. I don't.
It was probably last year. Or no. It was definitely at the LA Tech game. So that would have been, it was like 52-17. So I would have to say it was 35 points, Kenny.
That game was 52-24, but that would be the correct game. If you look at some of these other ones, last year against South Dakota, 35-10. And then back into the 2021 season, you have Central Michigan 34-24. And then the 2020
ugly.
season, which was probably one of the best games that year, Alabama against Mizzou at Mizzou, 38-19.
Who started that game at quarterback for Mizzou?
Sean Robinson, right?
John Robinson, indeed, was the first quarterback to take a snap under Eli Drinkwitz at Mizzou, and he was a safety later in the year.
I'm still really bitter
Missouri
about
only
that.
lost like 19.
Yeah,
so.
they were Alabama's smallest margin of victory until the national championship game, I believe. Or
I
until
think
they
it was
beat,
the semifinal against
the game
Notre
against
Dame.
Cincinnati.
It was
Cincinnati.
No. That was a different year. They
Was
played
that not-
Notre Dame, and then they played Notre Dame, and then they played Ohio State.
You're
that
right.
year.
You're right. I think they played Cincinnati when they lost to Georgia.
Yes, I think
Cincinnati
that's
and then-
correct.
Anyway, yeah, they were. I remember that fact. I'm still bitter about that game because, especially now, because that Alabama team's revered as like one of the best teams ever, and there was a lottery for tickets, and I really wanted to watch them play in person, and I didn't get the lottery for a ticket.
Yeah, that must
Still mad
suck,
about
huh?
that.
must
Yeah,
suck.
you
Not
guys,
winning
you guys
that
both,
lottery.
you guys both got to go. I was super mad.
We didn't
I
also
really
just get to
wanted-
go. We were in the fourth row.
It was
by
Right,
ourselves.
really honestly, like COVID, like the COVID atmosphere obviously was not good, but like it was kind of cool, like being like in your own little world almost, watching Mizzou play Alabama at Faroe.
Yeah, I was sad I couldn't go see that game in person. Alabama had so many. good
Not
players
only
to
that,
watch.
Knowlton, Kenny and I got to go see Mizzou play LSU, Georgia, and Florida and Alabama at Faroe in 1 year.
I was at the LSU one.
That was the best
Uh,
one to go to.
Yeah, I was at the LSU one. That was fun. The goal line stand, and I was at Arkansas because Arkansas
Also at that one, yeah.
Arkansas was weird because our tickets were in the other side of the student section, like way up, and so I had a completely different vantage point than like we normally got in the student sections. That was pretty fun.
Fun fact about that game, on the 2-point conversion that Arkansas went for, the guy, I think it was Jamal Brooks was his name, who dropped the interception. Kenny 100% thought it was caught by Mizzou.
Yeah, so did everyone else. You can't just blame me for this.
Yes, I know.
Everyone around
Everyone did.
us.
I did it first, and then like everyone was going crazy, and then everyone started to realize like, oh no, it bounced out of his hands. But Kenny, I turned to him, and he was still going, yeah, like belting out, yeah. I had to break the unfortunate.
Yeah, we
news.
won.
It's hard.
Yeah,
to,
they did.
It's hard to temper Kenny down when he gets going. If you were at the
The-
homecoming, see Mizzou's 2023 homecoming game for more information.
The year after, it was a little bit of redemption because Mizzou was playing Florida, and I was like it was late in the game. Mizzou was going for bowl eligibility. Harrison Mevis missed a kick that would have given Mizzou the lead with like a minute left, and I thought, like, from where I was standing, I was like, oh, he nailed it. I was like, so I was going crazy, and Kenny was like, Payton, he didn't make it. I was like, what?
It was a good game.
I remember that. That was a
That
good
was
game.
that was one of my favorite games I've watched. in
I was
person.
not
We
at
were-
that game.
We were walking
unfortunately.
back to our apartments after the game, and you look how the buses will pick up fans and take them to their
Mhm.
cars. There was a little kid in like a Florida sweatshirt, and I chomped at him. I did like a chomp thing, and he flipped me off while he was in the bus.
Little shit.
Yeah.
That'd have been
Yeah.
funnier if you just
Oh.
started crying. Took his hat, throw it on the ground. You're done. Yeah, ended Dan Mullen. They killed Dan Mullen.
Dan Mullen.
Can Mullen. Shout out. We gotta bring that bit back. We gotta find our NFL coach. We'll find a Can this year for an NFL coach. Anyway, Murray State, they last won a game on September 30th, 2023. Indiana State by 2 points, 30-28. There's your fun fact about the Racers. And Orion Phillips played there.
They averaged 183 yards a game last year.
Oh my God.
Missouri needs to win this game by 60.
Okay, so that's where we'll go. I want to do this, and I know it's going to be painful for the first couple games because it's bad teams, but I do want to make a score picks graphic for each week. So I'm going to force you guys to have a score prediction
Okay.
for the game.
I will go Missouri. I'm swinging for the fences. I'm saying Missouri wins this game 66-7.
Okay, Kenny. Oh, write these down. Someone write these down. I need to put them
Payton,
on.
you write them down. It's a tough one. Just trending on recent years. I'm gonna go something a little bit smaller. I'm gonna go 42-7.
42-7.
Yep.
Not good enough.
All right, I'm gonna go even bigger than you guys, and I feel like when we would do this, like on the radio for games, I always had the most outlandish score predictions, and I'm gonna stick with it here. 72-6 Tigers final score.
2 field goals, or they missed the extra point.
2 field goals.
66-7 is like way more than I'm normally comfortable with, but like I feel like Drinkwitz knows like this year, like Missouri's in this for the playoff. Like they need to get some style points wherever they can. Like, I'm sorry, Murray State. I'm sorry to their first-year head coach. Missouri needs to be
first-year head coach too.
Missouri needs to be Josh Heupel, like on some of these teams this year. If they're up 35-10 against Buffalo in week 2, they need to go for 50. If they're up like 20 on Boston College, go for a 30-point win. Like, they need to kill these teams.
I think they will too. Like, Drinkwitz has had such a different energy about him when he does these like press conferences, and I like it. Like, it's like a good, like he said today or on Sunday that he was like, someone asked him, I don't know what the question was, but he said he was talking about practice versus games, and he was like, yeah, we practice to get better. We don't play games to get better. We play games to win or lose them. And like that struck me as like, oh, he's confident that his team is like where it needs to be. We're not worried about seeing certain parts of the team or whatever on the field. Like, we're going to go out and kick everybody's ass. That's what that quote read to me anyway. So we'll see if that remains to be seen. All right, we're all going blowouts. Those will get more fun, in week like 5 when it's Texas A&M, I guess. But speaking of that, we're going to use this as our entire season prediction as well. For the Tigers. I'm going to do this Rich Eisen show style. I'm sure he's not the only one that does this, but I always see when people call into the Rich Eisen show, he'll have like fans call and he'll just rattle through the schedule and say win or loss. And so we're going to do that for the whole season. These are official. I'm going to make a graphic for these too. Our season game by game picks for Mizzou, and we'll see who's the closest at the end of the year. I have a feeling we're all going to be pretty similar, but we can discuss the games we may be different after we run through the schedule each. So I'm going to do it for each of you guys. And I'll say it for myself quick, and then we can talk about maybe where we differ at the end to close things out. Kenny or Payton, which one of you wants to go first?
I'll go first. That's how we normally do it, so I'll go first.
All right, Payton. Yep. Mizzou, we just did it. Week 1 versus home against Murray State, 7 p.m.
Yep, win.
At home against Buffalo, September 7th, 6 p.m.
Win. Big win.
Home against Boston College, September 14th, 11:45 a.m. kick on SEC Network.
Win.
Home again against Vanderbilt, September 21st.
Win.
On the road at number 20 Texas A&M, October 5th.
I'm going to say this is a loss.
At UMass, October 12th.
Win.
Home against Auburn, October 19th.
One of 2 trap games that I see for Mizzou, but I'm going to say they get through it. Win.
Okay, heading into Alabama, what is that?
Loss.
8-0, undefeated, October 26th, loss.
I have them with a loss to A&M.
Oh, sorry, you did. Sorry, I missed that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, week 9. What are they? 7-2 at home against Oklahoma.
Yep.
Week 10.
Yep.
Week 10, I mean.
Backs 11 against the wall. Missouri has to win out now. And
week
this
11,
is probably the most difficult game. I'm saying they win.
Against Oklahoma.
Yes, I think they beat Oklahoma.
Okay, week 12 at South Carolina.
This is the other trap game I see. I think South Carolina could be decent this year, but I am going to say they win at South Carolina.
At Mississippi State, week 13.
Win.
And home against Arkansas to close things out.
Come on, man. You think this backwater program is going to compete with Mizzou when they have to make the playoff? I'll say one more thing about this game. The head coach that will be shaking Drinkwitz's hand will be Bobby Petrino. And Missouri, it will be after Missouri has beat them by 30 plus.
So a win. So Payton, is that 10-2?
Yep.
10-2. All right, Kenny. Murray
I'm
State.
gonna save some time. That is
No, all
literally
right.
exactly what I was gonna do. I did not expect Peyton to say lost to
Oh,
Texas
wow,
A&M,
okay.
but that was my
A&M is
exact one.
yeah. A&M's a good team. That is a really horribly tough place to play. A&M
Unless you're
is
App
not a
State.
team that will make the playoff, but I think they're good enough to beat Missouri. Again, I could 100% if Missouri beats A&M, I think they literally, unless they lose a game they shouldn't, are in the playoff. I think they clinch their playoff spot if they beat A&M.
Yeah, that is pretty wild with the way that schedule works. Just to be different, I'm gonna go a little bit different, just for fun. I'm gonna also say 10-2. I'm gonna also say one of those losses is A&M, and I'm gonna say the
Oh
other
my
one
God.
is on the road at Mississippi State.
So you think they're going to beat they're going to Bama and beating Bama and then
Why not?
beating Oklahoma. They're coming off that emotional high of beating Alabama,
And then
they're
they're gonna
not going to let themselves get in their own way and beat Oklahoma. But Mississippi State
They're
is
gonna-
too much for them.
they're gonna limp out of Columbia, South Carolina, and then they're gonna go down to those cowbells. Drinkwitz has never played there, and we're gonna have
Yes,
we're
he
gonna
has
have one
They
flashback.
played there and
He
lost.
has played there.
I forgot about that. That kind of kills my argument. I don't know. I was trying to be fun. I think
like it.
they go down. No, I think they go down. They limp out of Carolina, and we have a flashback of what this coach was, and it's not going to happen against Mississippi State. It's going to happen against Texas A&M. But I'm going to go with this game just for fun.
I will
They're going to
say
have
Go
the
ahead.
flashback to road Drinkwitz. And they're going to go down with all those damn cowbells. We're going to watch the game on TV. It's going to be annoying as hell. I hate watching Mississippi State play. I don't like the cowbells. And they're going to rattle them. I think Mississippi State's going to get them on the road.
If you scroll back up, I don't like just a little bit. Like, I don't love if you look at this part of the schedule, say they do beat Alabama, like that creates such an emotional high. You have to that'll be the coaching, like the toughest thing I think Drinkwitz has had to do is reel them back in and get ready for Oklahoma, because that would be like, how could you not be just, oh my God, we just went into Tuscaloosa and beat Bama, and then you have to beat Oklahoma. Say they win both those games, like you say, then you have to go, like you have to resettle yourself, go on the road to two really, really tough road environments. Like South Carolina is a sneaky team. Like if Lenora Sellers is good, they're going to be a solid team.
Because like it could be like I remember Tennessee, when Tennessee was like, after they beat Bama at home, and then they went to Carolina and lost by like 30.
South Carolina is tough. That is not, and I know Drinkwitz has owned South Carolina. He's 5-0 against them. If you include App State, Beamer has had no answer for him. The law of averages kicks in eventually, man. Like people say, Father Time is undefeated. Pretty dang close to undefeated is regression to the mean. And it would, like, I'm not saying Missouri is going to lose to South Carolina. I'm saying that is like their biggest trap game of the year. Auburn is another one to me because Auburn's sneaky solid. But South Carolina, I think, coming off that Oklahoma and Alabama stretch, that is going to take a whole lot of refocusing to come back and get South Carolina.
I just want to throw one thing in there too. That, if you're talking about that emotional high, if they do come off that win from Alabama, there is a bye week in there. So I think that might be a little bit helpful.
That's good point.
Yeah. If that's like a worry that anyone has, I mean, there's a whole week to reset. It's win each week. They always try to go like 1-0 each week, and I think Drinkwitz has beat that to death last year, and I'm pretty sure he'll do the same thing this year. It's just worrying about this upcoming week, and that's it.
Yeah. Knowlton, if you could scroll a little more, just a little bit. I want to see if there's a bye week between Oklahoma and South. There's not. Oh,
I'm gonna change mine. I'm gonna be or should I let it ride and pick a win over Alabama?
I don't. If Missouri loses to South
probably
Carolina, I could see that snowballing into a loss to Mississippi State, because like by then your season's probably toast, unless you do beat Alabama. And if you beat Alabama and Oklahoma, you would have to you would get a mulligan loss in one of those last three, and it's not going to be Arkansas.
I'm gonna flip it. I'll say lost to Alabama, but they beat A&M. But I'm gonna stick with my Mississippi State one. I'm gonna stick with that one.
Okay. That's
So
fair. I mean,
He's going to look so smart when it happens. He's going to take the biggest victory lap of all time. He's going to clip it 1,000 times. He's going to make me post to the TikTok
Dude,
for the first time in a year.
I just and it might not be Mississippi State. I for some reason have just latched onto that one. I think actually, Peyton, your logic makes a lot more sense. Where it's like if you even narrowly lose to Alabama, and then you let that like energize you into the bye, beat Oklahoma in like a big win. It's probably South Carolina that's where that gets set up. But for some reason, I've just latched onto Mississippi State. They just
that is
feel like
100% my biggest fear of this season, because I'm gonna assume I think they'll play A&M tough. Obviously, I don't think it'll be a blowout or anything. But once you lose to A&M, you got to be pretty close to perfect. They'll give you that Alabama loss, but once you lose to Alabama, I mean, they're going to come out guns blazing against Oklahoma, because at that point, you're playing for your season. And if you beat Oklahoma, like that's such an emotional high. Maybe they do keep writing it because, I mean, at that point, you are playing for the playoff every week. So maybe they do stay focused. But that South Carolina game is just the trap game to end all trap games. That is just what it is.
Yeah. No, it definitely it feels like it should. I think I'm just sticking with State. I don't know why. It's just like a I don't know, kind of like you said. It just that feels like one where it's like maybe they know kind of what South Carolina can be or is by that point in the year, versus Mississippi State might be pretty bad, and they just overlook that game a little bit. They look forward to going back and pummeling Arkansas, and then I don't know. It just adds up. But also, I don't want to each pick the same losses and wins. So I'll change one for the sake of parity.
And
Kenny,
Auburn, I will say the last thing, Auburn. Luckily,
Auburn's
the
scary.
reason Auburn is a little scary to me, because again, they're good. They're gonna be I think a 8-win team this year. Luckily for Mizzou, it's homecoming. It's a home game. Can you scroll up a little more? Do they have a bye week before that? They don't.
Bye week is September 28th, the first one.
No, they have a bye week the week before that.
Right here.
No,
That's
look,
the bye
it's
week.
UMass.
A bye game, yeah.
Yeah, they have a bye week in there. So I mean that's good. Oh, and another thing, Auburn's quarterback is Payton Thorne. He's terrible.
Yeah, that's
so
also what holds me back with Auburn. If Auburn had Lenore Sellers, I'd almost say it's a loss. I'd almost trust him.
That's the thing about Lenore Sellers is he could be anything. He could even be Payton Thorne, but
he could be bad.
That's if Lenore Sellers comes out and stinks up the joint, then that my fear of South Carolina goes down considerably. But South Carolina is just a team that is loaded with freak athletes all across the board. It's just a matter of if they click or not. If they click, that's a scary game. If they don't, it's just business as usual for Mizzou.
All right. SEC championship game, who's in it and who wins?
I'm going to be basic. I'm going to say it's Georgia and Texas. I think Georgia wins.
Same thing, Kenny?
Yeah. I think Georgia rights the ship this year. Doesn't have to play Florida State in a bowl game again. But I like that. I like Georgia, Texas. That's good.
I will also go Georgia. I'm going to have them over Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss.
That's a good one.
Cool.
Ole Miss
like
Ole Miss. I think I would pick third or fourth right now.
I like Ole Miss. All right, what seed does Mizzou get in the playoff? And for fun, pick their first round opponent. You can just have a fun one with that.
I have Mizzou in the Citrus Bowl against Michigan. Actually, they're the first team left out.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I do think in my scenario,
it's got to be a.
In my scenario, they win probably they lose their two toughest games, which hurts them a lot. But they're a 10-win SEC team, and I'm going to be an SEC elitist. If you're a 10-win SEC team, you should be in the playoff. I don't care what else anyone did. You're a 10-win team in the SEC. You're a top 12 team in the nation. So I'm going to say Missouri's in, but they're the 10 or 11 seed, so they have to go on the road. I'm going to say I think Missouri is 10. They have to go up to Eugene and play Oregon. Because I think Oregon will be.
I would love that game.
Or I don't think
Unicorn
Oregon will
game.
win the Big Ten. I think that'll be Ohio State, so I think they'll get it. But I think Oregon will be the first or second team out of the top four.
That would be Can you imagine like Eugene on like a cloudless December day? That would be the most aesthetically pleasing game I've ever watched.
It would also be a literal nightmare for Mizzou.
It would be bad. It
But-
would be bad for Mizzou.
But it would be, like I said, that would like Mizzou Oregon is absolutely like, if I could pick a dream non-con for Mizzou, it'd be Oregon.
It'd be so fun. All right, Kenny, you're
Honestly, not even cloudless. I think, when I think of like really cool Oregon
Overcast?
games, is overcast.
Yeah.
Oregon, Washington, the last
Yeah.
couple years, it's just what
Yeah.
comes to mind. And you just let the colors of the uniforms talk.
pop. Yeah,
Oh, that would be a
Fair.
lot of fun.
it'd be so pretty.
I don't know. I keep doing it. I keep playing in like, college football. Like, I've kind of mapped out in the video game, like, what teams could be going anywhere just based on sims.
Mhm.
But I do think that Mizzou would be in that back end of the seating, like Payton said. I wanted to be a little bit different. I think like if it worked out, I don't really know necessarily how the seating would work, but imagine like a game against like Oklahoma State and Mizzou. Like Oklahoma State the Big 12 is, I don't think it's a
Crapshoot.
real conference. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna
it-
get to in.
Yeah. So I think, if they win out the whole thing, I think that would be a really fun one, because I don't think Oklahoma State would necessarily get the highest seeding. I still think they'd make it in with one loss if they just win the conference. So I kind of like that. It's something like that. I don't know where that game would be though. I think
Well,
it would
here's
probably have to be
if Oklahoma State wins the Big 12, they get a bye.
Yeah,
Oh, they would get a
Mizzou-
bye.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's the
shoot.
top. It's the highest 4 conference. So you'd be banking on a second.
You would
team,
have to
Yeah.
have like a 11-1 Oklahoma
Utah
State team.
or- yeah.
Who would win the Arizona?
Arizona,
U-
Utah, or
Utah,
Georgia State,
Kansas,
maybe.
Iowa State. They're like all pretty good.
I would
Oklahoma.
if I had to pick it right now, I'd say Arizona would probably win the Big 12.
Okay.
So you're saying a second Big 12? Okay, I like it. I have 2 in my head. I have one, a 7-10 matchup. Mizzou's the 10, down to Coral Gables, Florida, against Miami.
That would be
Or-
ideal. I think Missouri would win that game.
I would agree. Or a visit to our good friend and colleague Jack Sobel up in South Bend, Indiana, in an 8-9 matchup against Notre Dame.
That
like
again,
that.
that would be really fun.
Yeah, I have both of those. Both of those have been the 2 that have stuck in my head. Yeah.
See, I know, like if say Mizzou goes 11-1 or something like that, they're probably hosts in a playoff game. I really would hope Missouri. You'd have to be the 5 seed for this to happen, and I mean, if you're the 5 seed, most ideally, I mean, you'd want to be the 5 seed. You'd host the group of 5 school, but man, you talking through this, you could get so many cool matchups in this. I
Yeah.
really do not want to see 5 seed Mizzou play like 12 seed Memphis.
Liberty.
Yeah, like I don't really want to
Boise
see
State.
that, to be honest. Like
Um,
give me Mizzou, Miami, Mizzou, Oregon, like something like that.
Yeah, I like both those games. I think on College Game Day when they did it in Ireland, I think Saban had Mizzou as his second team out,
His first team out.
first team out. I think Desmond Howard might have had Mizzou second team or first team out. Too. I don't think any of them
Herb
had
Street,
him.
I believe somebody had Mizzou hosting Florida State. 7-10.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's
7-10.
not happening now.
Yeah, not gonna happen. But I mean, that would have been a sick. Imagine Florida State coming to like a playoff game at Faroe. That's like something out of like my sick, demented brain.
Couple other quick ones. Luther Burden, Bolitnikov, yes or no?
I'm gonna say no. I think teams are gonna key in on him too much, and it's gonna have to open up the rest of the offense. Teams are gonna just come up to a point where it's just gonna be like, okay, we're gonna make literally anybody else that's not Luther Burden beat us. And I think, unfortunately, it's gonna prevent Luther from winning it.
Same boat, Kenny?
Yeah, he posted a TikTok the other day. It was like, I want to be the best wide receiver in college football, and here I am, the best wide receiver in college football. So he has the confidence. He was on the watch list for Blitnikoff. So this is, it's definitely an award I think we'll see his name on. But I think there might be a guy in Oregon right now that's gonna take it home this year.
Oh, Kenny, you're making my heart swell. Except I would rather have Luther Burden win, but I'm a big.
I
big
think
dude.
McMillan from Arizona will win.
I like the kid on Ole Miss too. I think in my hypothetical scenario, if Ole Miss goes to the SEC championship, that kid probably wins it. I'm blanking on his name for some reason.
Are you
Robinson?
talking about
Something.
Harris?
No, the receiver. I don't remember what his name is, but
Harris is a receiver. I don't know. Ole Miss has like
They have a really
crazy
good one.
weapons. Let me look it up.
I'll say no. Any predictions for all first team All SEC, All SEC teams? Anyone surprising?
I still think Luther easily gets first team All SEC. I'm gonna say Armand Membu makes an All SEC team. I don't know if it'll be first team, but I think he'll make it. Caden Green is an honorable mention. I'll throw that one in there for funsies. Johnny Walker makes a team. I don't think any of the corners will make it. Dalen Carnell, I think, will finally get a little bit of love as well.
I'm just kind of waiting for all this to come back, and we're just going to look really stupid by December.
That's why I'm at. That's why I'm trying to find more questions to ask.
When Mizzou finishes 8-4,
yeah, I want
the
more
Outback
footage.
Bowl.
We're talking about their matchup with Iowa in the Relia Quest Bowl.
Yeah, it's all gonna come back. I mean, last season, I think we were just like, yeah, I think this team's gonna win 7 or 8 games, and that's the ceiling. Maybe even 9. And now we're talking about the ceiling being 11.
I think I had them 5-7. I think I had them.
I think I was predicting we were going to be talking about a coach.
I watched a YouTube video today, and their 2023 SEC championship game odds were only higher than Vanderbilt that year. The start of that before it started. Sorry, Kenny, what were you going to say?
I will say that Kansas State game, before that game, when we were doing our predictions, I think I had like the tightest score on our predictions, because I was like, they cannot do any worse than they did last season in Manhattan. This game's going to mean so much to these guys. Ended up being one of the best games in the past decade.
It might have been the most important game for the program in a decade. Yeah. I mean, that win kind of set everything in motion.
I'm Luther Bolitnikoff. He finishes 7th in the Heisman. That's my pick.
Then he doesn't win the
Bolitnikoff?
No, I said he wins it. He wins it. Finishes.
I think he would be higher if he wins the Bolitnikoff. I think you're top 5. I just don't know if there's that.
All right, I'll go 4th. Fuck it. I'll be.
Honestly, if Luther wins Bolitnikoff and finishes 4th in the Heisman, we're talking about maybe 12-0 Mizzou.
Yeah.
Luther's. I think Luther is. The number he needs to be Mizzou's career receptions leader or receiving yards leader is lower than what he got last year. I think it's like 30 yards less.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think teams are going to literally like bracket him and be like, somebody else is going to beat us. Like, it is not going to be Luther Burden.
Yeah, that's fair. That's probably going to happen. But you know what? I'm going to live in my fantasy world because we're still allowed to do that because the season hasn't started. Last thing, national championship. Who's in it? Who wins?
I'm going to say I almost want to go chalk. I think the 2 best teams in the nation right now are Georgia and Ohio State. I don't think that'll be the national title game. Ooh. I think the national title game will be Georgia and Oregon, and I think Georgia will win.
I don't want to be chalk either. I really like Ohio State. Will Howard is a dog. And I mean, they have a pretty good running back.
He likes him because he has his card in cut.
Well, let's go Ole Miss, Ohio State. Let's be really different.
Wow.
A very weird looking one.
Dude.
Lane slips in.
Lane national media, national championship media sessions would be insane.
Oxford would melt if that happens. Oh my God.
I know we're running off with this stuff, but did you see that Drinkwitz had his Diet Coke up on his on the lectern?
Did he bring it back?
Was that a troll for?
That was a troll.
Lane said it was bad.
Yeah, Lane said Coke is bad for you.
Yeah, I did see that.
They are trolling partners in crime, so wouldn't shock me.
That would be so cool.
I'm looking at just that would be an awesome game. I'm looking at Nick Saban's playoff just to get an idea, and it already looks bad because he has Florida State as the number 3 seed.
What?
Like he had him as the 3.
You got out of the game at the right time, Nick.
Yeah. He said he doesn't like making predictions. Maybe it's just because he's bad at them.
Clearly.
I will go Ohio. No, I just can't. I can't buy into Ryan Day. I'm gonna go Georgia and Oregon too. Oregon kills the dynasty. Dylan Gabriel, the lefty, wins the natty, and Evan Stewart has 300 yards in the receiving in the title game.
He's holding.
Dylan Gabriel is the one question mark I have. Like if he's good, then Oregon will be off to the
I think he'll be
races.
I think he's gonna be good.
Yeah, if he has literally no excuse to be bad. I mean, that's one of the best receiving rooms in the nation, if not the best. We'll see.
Other one, Heisman, who wins?
This is such a horrendous year for the Heisman. I genuinely have no idea. Like, I don't want to say Carson
I
Beck
have
'cause
mine.
that would suck if Carson Beck won the Heisman.
Do they give it? They give it before the national championship, right?
Yeah,
Because I have mine in that.
I'll go. You know what? I'm gonna say, just for fun, even though this is definitely not going to happen, Ole Miss really lights it up. They're a top
Let's
4
go.
team, and
Yep.
Jackson Dart wins the Heisman.
Beat me to it.
Yep.
That would be fun.
Remember when Drinkwitz briefly followed Dart on Twitter because he wanted to get him out of the portal?
Remember when we had Jaden Daniels? My pick, and it actually doesn't fit because I think they would have to win the SEC championship game, and I didn't have them winning, but I'm still going to pick this. Alabama goes to the semifinal, and Jalen Milroe wins it, and then he's the number 1 overall pick in the draft. I think he's going to be really, really good.
I think that's a good one. In my mind, it's whoever wins the SEC, and it's their quarterback, and if that quarterback was the heart of that offense, which will most likely happen for whoever wins it. I think that's a great pick.
Yeah. I just think he's been gelling this offseason. I think he's going to be really good, and I think he's going to make a professional team really happy because he's good. All right, nice. Did I miss anything? Do we have any other? Kenny, is there a long snapper of the year award you'd like to vote on?
I know.
I was going to say I thought I only asked about the all SEC teams because I wanted you to say Brett LeBlanc first team long snapper.
Well, that's a lock.
There is not a long snapper.
I'm pretty sure there is.
The Patrick Manley Award.
There you go. The low man. Kenny, you could win the low man.
That's for fullbacks.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's only fullbacks. Sorry.
Good Lord.
It just started. It just became a thing.
How do you even measure this?
How long they snap?
Man, I wish I could vote on this. This would be so awesome.
You probably can. You could probably contact us. Click the contact us.
Purchase the award dinner tickets, dog.
You could. I guarantee you could vote on this. You could definitely vote on this.
That'd be so sick if they let me vote on this.
Kenny, I really want you to
send
actually
an email to these people. I guarantee you they'd be interested.
Okay.
And just say like I'm Kenny Van Dorn. I have a podcast. We talk college football. Like I watch it every week. You can send them the link and just say like I would like to vote on it. I guarantee you they'd let you.
They're just like, you can't vote for Brett LeBlanc. He is too young. You cannot vote for a second-year long snapper who doesn't do both.
Why are you voting for
long
Jack
snapping.
Potts? He hasn't snapped once this year.
Actually, Kenny, I think
so
I know
cool.
who might be Brett LeBlanc's biggest competition in the SEC for first team. It's Neeland Hibbett. He's Alabama's long snapper. He's first team last year. That's the only reason why I know that.
He does both though, doesn't he?
What do you mean?
Does he do punting and kicks?
That would
field
make
goals?
him more qualified for the award.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I'm
LeBlanc's
gonna
gotta
send. I'll let you guys know. Probably won't hear back. I've tried these things before. They don't always work. They're probably just seeing. They're like, "What was this stupid kid saying?"
Yeah.
And then they'll move on. But
Can
if
you
they
just
give me
put
a
in your
vote,
message, please, let me vote. Please, please. I want to vote so bad. Please,
Okay.
please.
if this does happen, I'm not going to tell you guys that I got it until the end of the season when I submit my vote.
Okay. And then oh my God, because the voting's going out, he's gonna have one vote.
Can you imagine having in my Twitter bio that I vote for the Patrick Manley Award?
Patrick Manley
And then all my other
voter.
tweets about minor league baseball, like it would just be the craziest Twitter feed of all time. Oh
my
man, this
God.
would be so cool.
Baseball and long snappers. I want to do the Lou Groza. I want to vote on the Lou Groza.
I don't want to vote on any of these awards because I am not qualified.
You can look at the nominees. Who are the nominees last year? This might be his competition.
Oh,
God.
That's too many names.
Wait,
All
go
right.
back up. Go back up. Was that the 2024 watch list or 2023
This is
watch list?
2023 preseason.
Oh, so they don't have a watch list yet. So maybe he'll be on the watch
Did they
list.
maybe discontinue this award?
Maybe they stopped doing it.
Everything here is 2023.
It doesn't say it's over.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if people would be
I pity the
updating
poor
Wikipedia for the Patrick Manley Award.
I pity the Wikipedia employee that had to put that page together for it. It's terrible. They probably have AI do that now. All right. Yeah, those are our season predictions. Very exciting. Wow, they have a lot more followers on Twitter than I thought.
They're all long snappers trying to get
I can
them
message them, Kenny. I'll DM them for you.
Oh, here's the watch list.
Oh, let's see. Oh,
Oh,
it's just the Utah State guy.
Jacob Garcia.
Jacob Garcia. You're no match for Brett LeBlanc. Oh, so it looks like Mizzou would have tweeted it if he got on there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's unfortunate. Uh-oh.
Well, we got one you can't vote for.
A special specialist.
This is insane. All right, end the show. We are going way too off.
Yeah, we're in deep. We're looking at Patrick Manley watch lists. All right. Those are our season predictions. Put yours in the comments, whatever you want. Yeah, there's Neelan Hibbett. He's really good. That's all I know. Yeah, put your predictions for Mizzou's first game against Murray State. Season predictions, record, what you think they're going to be. I want to see them. Throw your Heisman picks in there. Season national championship picks if you really want. And yeah, hopefully Ken will get on this watch list. Me and Payton will be on here on Thursday. We're gonna try and recap right after on Thursday, if not Friday, and we'll get that up, whenever we can after they hopefully shut out Murray State and win by a whole lot of points. So you have that to look forward to. Football's finally back. Super excited to get back in the swing of things, back in the thick of it, back yelling about the Missouri Tigers on the gridiron. Nothing could be better. All right, until then, take it easy. Enjoy the game if you're going, and we will talk to you after the win, hopefully.